generated clients now over $35 million.
Totally outliers. It's like everyone always sees outlier, outlier, outlier.
But what people don't realize is that you can't just copy an outlier. Everyone knows that. Now what you need to do is focus on the biggest mistake is packaging. Like, I'll just say that up front. Like, most people just are not good at it.
If you mess up the packaging, you don't get any of the reward for all the work that you put in.
For the business niche, the ideal length that you want to go is between minutes. This is like the #1 thing like that makes people money on YouTube, and a lot of people don't do it.
So how do you actually make sure that your packaging in your videos attracts people who actually like what they want to buy from you? Guys, welcome to the Track Your channel. Here with Lyndon Chasteen, biggest YouTube school group ever out of anyone else. Ran some of the biggest offers in the space. Joel Kaplan, you blew him up. He took over the internet, and you've generated like tens of millions of dollars of people on YouTube. So there's not many better people to actually speak to when it comes to YouTube, especially like YouTube business. And yeah, I'm excited for today, guys. We're not going to talk about, you know, the CTRs and all that stuff, but we're going to talk about how to use YouTube to actually make a shit ton of money. And that's the goal of the channel here with Trackio. So yeah, Lyndon, I guess like give a quick presentation, whatever I forgot, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first off, dude, thank you for having me. You know, I'm a user of Trackio and I love it. And I think should be a really good podcast. We're going to drop some game. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Lyndon Chasteen, and I essentially love YouTube. I've been doing it for the last 5 years. You know, I started my first ever YouTube channel 5 years ago. And, you know, now we've worked with over 200 different channels. We've taken multiple channels to over 100,000 subscribers and a few, you know, over 1 million as well. And then on the actual monetary side, we've generated clients now over $35 million, which is definitely good. And then as far as our side as well, we've, you know, done over $1 million personally.
That's not ad revenue.
That's not ad revenue, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tracked sales like on YouTube.
Okay, sick. I guess first things first. Well, I guess one thing I'm curious about is, well, it's so interesting to know, when is the first time you made like money from like ad rev?
Definitely. So yeah, the first time that I ever made money was about a year after I started YouTube. So for me, I posted for a year. I was posting like random finance content, and then I stumbled across like dropshipping challenges. That was like where I got my first initial come up. And so I would essentially like build the dropshipping business from scratch, do it in like 7 days, you know, make some sales, and then make a YouTube video out of it. And that blew up. We were having videos that had, you know, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 views on them. And essentially that's how I got my start. I started getting, you know, paid with AdSense. My RPMs at the time for the dropshipping niche were like $30. It was ridiculous. And so we were getting crazy views on these challenges, and I was, you know, making a few $1,000s a month through it.
$30 RPM?
Yeah, $30 RPM.
That's unbelievable. Okay, and you were not selling like info on the back end of that, like a consult, like anything, right?
At that time, no. I was a complete, I was a biz op lead, bro. Like I was not, I had no idea.
When you first got on YouTube, like, so that was your first videos on YouTube was like dropshipping challenges.
Yeah, that was how I got my start. And then essentially I did an SMMA challenge on YouTube at that time.
You're like the challenge master, huh?
I used to be, yeah. I don't do them anymore, but I did an SMA challenge. That video blew up, and that's how I got in contact with Joel Kaplan, who was our first client. He basically had like 5,000 subscribers at the time. He saw that video that I did, and that video I think got like, I think it was like 80 or 90,000 views. And then he was essentially, he hit me up. He was like, yo, let's do a collab. I was like, yo, I'm down. Cause like, you know, obviously I was a beginner entrepreneur at that time. And yeah, we hopped on the call, and then he was like, wait a second, I think you could actually potentially help me with YouTube, because I was crushing it at the time. And then we did one video together. That video got 291,000 views, which was his most viewed video ever. And then we just started working together. And ever since then, you know, he taught me a lot about business, and I grew his YouTube channel to over 250,000 subscribers. We collected over $6 million in cash from that channel during that 1 year period that I worked with him. And from there, everything just kind of took off.
Joel was actually good at business. I mean, obviously you know that. What do you feel like kind of made him want to actually like work with you? And what do you feel like are the skill set, like the different skill set that you had that he didn't have, even though he was making a lot of money? Because he was also doing like decent on Instagram, right? Or like he was doing decent on YouTube, but he wasn't doing as great as he ended up doing working with you.
I mean, Kinda. He had 15,000 followers on Instagram at the time,
Right.
that he reached out to me, and then he had 5,000 YouTube subscribers. So his average video at the time was getting around 1 to 2,000 views, which definitely is not bad. Like for the business space, that's like not bad at all, right?
It's not horrible.
Um, yeah, but he just knew that he could take it a lot farther. He knew that he didn't really know that much about content, and so when he saw the first video that we did, obviously getting that many views, he was like, well, dude, you seem to know more about content than I do, and let's hop on and try it out. And so I basically just mentored him on the content side, and then he mentored me on the business side, and we just did that trade off together. And we took his average views per video to over, I think it was 80,000 on his channel for an entire year.
And what was that like the biggest tweak you made there for it to go from 1,000 views to like getting like what 300,000 views on YouTube?
Yeah, dude, it was a lot of stuff. I mean, for one, it was the packaging. That was one of the biggest ones. Like if you look at his old thumbnails from, roughly 3 years ago, like you'll see that they're just super busy. There's a bunch of elements all over the place. They're just not like tailored for, the ICP that he actually talks to. And so what we did is we simplified them, made them higher quality, and put direct messaging that targets his ICP. So we put
Yeah.
Stripe screenshots. We put Google Calendars. We put GHL stuff, like everything that agency owners actually responded to. We dropped that on the thumbnail, and we just had very, very clear messaging, talking direct to that ICP.
What did you change in? So I guess this is the first takeaway people can take is like your first approach wasn't even the actual video, what's in the video itself is being filmed. It's like the thumbnail and the packaging itself. And I feel like a lot of people always hear about these outliers, especially now with vidIQ. Holy outliers. It's like everyone always sees outlier, outlier, outlier.
Yeah.
Everyone just copies everyone else, but they don't understand how to put the right components in a thumbnail so it actually attracts the audience that they want. Even like right now, you have like, oh, every stage of a hedge fund manager, every stage of a finance, like every stage of a YouTuber. It's like a new thing that's like been popping up on my page.
Yep.
People will just go copy it. So how do you actually make sure that your packaging in your videos attracts people who actually like they want to buy from you?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think like the problem with outliers is everyone copies an outlier as soon as it comes up. Like as soon as there's one outlier, like let's say the outlier, give me X minutes and I'll get you X result, right? That's
Yeah.
like a classic outlier that everybody knows. As
Yeah.
soon as that was created, the first time I saw it was this channel called Jack Piggott, I think. Give me 8 minutes and I'll improve your communication by 88%.
Yeah.
That video, as soon as that popped off, literally everybody copied it. And within like 2 weeks, that video was pretty saturated.
Yeah.
Now that's been one of like the ones that has done well. But what people don't realize is that you can't just copy an outlier. Like that doesn't really work that well anymore because now everyone knows that. It used to work, but not quite as much anymore. Now what you need to do is focus on the packaging. And so what we actually like to do is we like to take two different outliers together. So we take one outlier, we take the title from one outlier, and then we take the thumbnail from another outlier. And then we mix the two of those together, making sure that both of the outliers have the same target audience. And then what we do is we make sure that we have specific messaging in the thumbnail that talks to the ICP. So like I was saying, using Stripe dashboards, right? If you're doing a dropshipping channel, using Shopify dashboards. All of that is like really, really good.
And now, like, you tell me that, right? And say, for example, like, I make videos on Trackio, and like, I'm thinking of our video, right? So, like, we can use it as an example. I'm like slightly kind of helping my team here too. But like, say you had to like package like this video, how would you, like, how do you go about it? Because a lot of people that I know have a lot of business value. And this video is really valuable itself, no matter what's gonna happen, because I mean, people know who you are. And if they don't know who you are, they'll come in it, then they'll look you up, they'll think, oh, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. But then it's like, if you mess up the packaging, you don't get any of the reward for all the work that you put in. So it's like, I'm curious from your perspective, like not right now, we're filming this video, say it was already done, the video is done right there and then. What are the steps you take to package it the right way? So it's like, you get the reach you want to get, and then you actually reach the people you want to reach.
100%. So for one, it comes down to, like I said, like mixing two outliers together. So that's part of it, but I'm going to tell you guys about something different because this is like really, really valuable. And I haven't heard anybody speak about this. So how we like to think about packaging is we like to use Alex Hormozi's value equation. And so for one, you want to basically do the dream outcome, right? So what's the dream outcome of the people watching this video? They
Mhm.
want to probably make more money on YouTube. They want to make more sales, right?
Yeah.
So the second part of the value equation is, well, another part of it at least is um, the perceived likelihood of achievement, right? That's a big part of it. And so what we can do is we can take those two together, mush them together, and add credibility that gives the video a higher perceived likelihood of achievement by saying, he made $35 million on YouTube, like
Okay.
dot, dot, dot. And then it would go into the rest of the value equation. So how you can do it with less effort or time delay. So with less effort or less time. So it's like he made $35 million on YouTube, copy his entire strategy. That would be obviously effort. Copy the strategy is low effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, copy his entire strategy in 35 minutes, something like that. So in 35 minutes, that's the exact time that they would need. That's a pretty low time barrier to make $35 million. So
Okay.
we basically just optimize that title fully using the value equation. And then we need to make sure that the structure kind of fits in with an outlier, right? So like
Thing.
that is like, he did X, copy him. That's already an outlier. I already took that from an outlier, but then we're just applying the value equation to that. And then in the thumbnail, we'll need to take another outlier and pull from that.
All right. And then I've heard for some people when they see the correlation of the title and the thumbnail, they're
Mhm.
like, the thumbnail is this, for example, like in 35 minutes, and we'll show you this and this, or and then the thumbnail for some people kind of answers what the title says. How do you like see the combination of the thumbnail and the title like they acting together?
Yeah, great question. So typically, you always want the thumbnail to add something more than just the title, right? You never want to have any repetition. So if you
Yeah.
have, let's say, how to make $1 million on YouTube, right, as the title,
Yeah.
you don't just want to have the thumbnail be how to make $1 million on YouTube and say that.
Okay. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But what you could do is you could add something to it. So you could show proof. You could show a YouTube dashboard with $1 million, right? That would be an addition. Or you could say, you could do like a headshot, right? Where it's like somebody sitting like this, and then there's text on the bottom that says, it's easier than you think.
So it is that and equation, right?
Yeah,
Okay. I
it
see.
can be. It's like, yeah, it can be the and. It could be something else too, but I think, yeah, like you just need to create curiosity and be different than what you say in the title.
So you would go the title first and then the visual. Would you just have the visual be like, so this is what I'm always also curious about. Is the visual better because in this format, you're the more recognizable person,
Mhm.
right? And so like some people, let's say I'm making a dropshipping video or like whatever, or even SMMA, the stripe is more recognizable. So do you think of like using recognizable aspects of the thumbnail or like like objects or whatever you want to use in the thumbnail so more people actually convert and relate to it? Is that like how you would do it?
Yeah, more recognizable objects, faces, like, putting me next to, some of the clients that we worked with, like that are big names, like that would work well because then you get
Oh, so if we had
their
you like
audience.
you like this and all the clients you work with, for
Yeah, like
example.
that could be a variation that you test, right? And so that's like the thing. You want to do recognizable things. So that whether that be people, objects, like that's why, for example, William Brown blew up is because like he even though he was just a random person, he had so many recognizable objects in his original thumbnails. Like, right, he had like the Rolex, and then he had like the Dubai background. He had all these things. He had the ClickFunnels award that was a $10 million award, gave him instant credibility because those are symbols that people recognize before they even click.
That's interesting. Yeah, because a lot of people nowadays they just show things, but no one knows what it even is, and so it's like you're clicking into like, okay. So I guess now my question is even because you're basically saying like packaging matters more than anything now, right?
Yeah, that's the number one thing. If you can get unique packaging on your video, that is like the key. Like for Joel, for example, like we literally blew him up with Zoom calls. It was literally just hour-long Zoom calls in his community. We're getting hundreds of thousands of views on them just by packaging them
Oh,
in a
I
way that,
remember that.
yeah,
I remember that.
exactly.
I used to click on, and it's just Zoom calls.
It's just
Then
Zoom
what
calls. That's
it
it.
was a Zoom call with his business partner,
Yeah, it's super simple content.
or like random webinars. They would just post them, and like you would still like blow up like crazy.
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
packaging. That's the game of YouTube. Most people don't realize that.
Yeah, it's funny. I posted a video on the Track Your channel. We split tested like the one where we showed like YouTube and but it's the YouTube studio with revenue. And then it started attracting, like more YouTube automation people. And it's like really interesting how like you just make like literally a tweak and it's just you're basically choosing who's gonna click the whole time. I guess like now one thing I'm curious about is a lot of people say you have to like go thumbnail first and then the video, but then I know a lot of people. I know way too many people, bro, who make the video first and then try to turn it into a YouTube video. What do you think of that? And then like a lot of business people, like specifically, they're not making that much on YouTube and they think about they'll go make the video first and then they'll go make the strategy and the title behind it. What do you think of that?
It's a good point. Like, there's two realities, right, to YouTube. There's the ideal world and then there's the real world. And realistically, a lot of business owners don't have a lot of time. And so they need to make the content that they already have, whether that be Zoom calls, whether that be, stuff that they can just rip super easily on like a Miro board or, a screen share, stuff that they're already working on. Most of the time, if they don't have time, like, if they don't have like a whole team scripting their videos, coming up with ideas, it's very difficult for them to strategize beforehand. And so what you actually need instead, if you're in that position, is just a strategist to actually package your old content into better content. Now, it's always better to have the ideas beforehand. And if you're trying to build a brand like Hormozy or Dan Martell, literally, you cannot skip that. You have to go idea first. But if you want to build more of just like a, hey, more nurturing brand, Jeremy Haynes, Ryan Klog, Daniel Isles, all of these people, then you can go the opposite route.
Okay, and so you just take what you already have and you repackage it in a way to where it actually looks good.
Yep, you can do both, but it's always better on the in the ideal world.
Okay. I guess the part that I'm curious about, and obviously we're going to get to tracking and everything later, you have two channels. I'm actually curious about this. This is kind of like more of like a side tangent. Like, you have your own channel, then you have Amplify Views. What's the difference between both of them?
Great question. So this is going to be some sauce that I think not a lot of people have heard. This is the exact same strategy that Brez runs. There's a lot of people who run this strategy, and it's essentially called a 2-channel split. And all it is you essentially have your broad channel. So for us, we have Amplify Views, right? We've grown that channel to almost 70,000 subscribers now. And on that channel, we just go as broad as humanly possible within YouTube growth. So we're not necessarily targeting our ICP. We're just targeting the general people who are interested in our topic. And with that, goal is just views, right? We have videos with millions of views. And on that, it's like, we just want to get as many people as humanly possible. Then we have our second channel, which is Lyndon Chastain. And that one is just directly targeted to our ICP. With that channel, we directly talk to business owners. We teach them how to make more sales and scale their business on YouTube. And obviously, that channel gets a lot less views because there's a lot less business owners trying to grow on YouTube than there are people trying to grow on YouTube. And so we make money with both of them. We probably close about 60% of our revenue through the broad channel and about 40% of our revenue through the niche channel, which is good, right? Because we have another funnel where we DM set and qualify people on the broad channel. But yeah, we also send a lot of people back over from the broad channel to the niche channel. It's the exact same strategy that, Brez runs, where he has, his vlog channel and then he has his
You ran it before, right? You've been running yours.
Yeah, I've been running it for a while.
Did you find that from someone else, or is it just like on top of mind yourself?
It was it just kind of made sense. We knew that we wanted to pivot away because we started with just a broad channel and then we added the second channel in later because we saw that, obviously with a broad channel, lead quality is not going to be quite as good. So we wanted to also have that nurturing place where we could send people from both IG, who are more direct of our ICP, and just the ICP off of the main YouTube channel, give them a place to go where they can consume the content that they need. So yeah, and then we also have like a third channel too, which is like a testimonial channel. You'll see that a lot too in the info space, and that crushes too.
Okay, well, I mean, not a lot of people have 3 channels in the broad strategy and the second channel. Also, I guess
For sure.
You have to give yourself some credit somehow.
I appreciate it.
It seems like from what you're saying, the packaging is like your golden key.
Yeah.
It's what makes like really good. Because like I've seen like to crack like Amplify Views and then to crack your own channel and to track, like, you basically have gotten to a point where you can like choose what you want to get out of a video, right? So like, say the packaging is good and you work on the packaging really, really well. What is it that keeps you, like, say you make a video and the packaging is good or whatever, what makes the video not perform in the actual video itself? Because like now everyone's gonna think, oh, the packaging is the only issue, but then like you'll get on the video and there's people who have like shit cameras, or they'll, in the video itself, they'll be like super confusing and they'll just go tantrums, there's no cuts, there's no transitions. Depends how people like to do videos. I like to kind of give an idea of what I'm going to go through, just so people are kind of like excited about it. Some people don't agree with that strategy, but I've always kind of preferred it that way. How do you see the actual flow of the exact video go?
Yeah, for sure. So you mean just like how to structure a proper YouTube video?
I would say how to structure it, but also like you've seen a lot of business people, right? Because you audit these accounts. What are the biggest mistakes they typically make? Because like probably just cost them like either like money and viewership, and they don't even know it.
For sure, yeah. I mean, the biggest mistake is packaging. Like I'll just say that up front. Like most people just are not good at it. But after that, it's typically a few different things. So how we like to analyze videos, I learned this from Patty Galloway, which is one of the probably the best YouTube strategists objectively in the world. And basically what he taught me was that you should analyze a video by first looking at the idea. So if a video underperforms, right, you get a 10 out of 10 on the YouTube Studio, you want to first look at the idea. You want to look at the total addressable market of that idea. This is where a lot of channels mess up. So they think like, okay, I made this video about this super niche type of funnel and I'm going to teach people how to do it. Or it's like you do a video where it's like breaking down a case study, right? It's like, it's so niche and there's just such a small TAM. That's usually the problem with those videos.
Why a lot of trading case studies do really well, or some
Yeah.
agency case studies rip, but a case study for like a newer, different business just doesn't do as well. Or like if you have a
Yes.
case study for a consulting business, it'll tend to get a lot more views than like a growth operator case study naturally.
Exactly. Yeah. With that, like that's the first thing we look at is the idea too niche. That's pretty much it. And then if it's not, if the idea is, an okay TAM, then we look at the title and thumbnail. Does the title create a dream outcome? Does it create curiosity? And then does the thumbnail, create the dream outcome? Does the thumbnail get curiosity? If those are checked off, yes, then okay, that's not the problem. Then we look at the actual video itself. So first thing we look at is the intro. Does my intro have above a 60% retention rate after the first 30 seconds? A lot of business channels, if you look at their analytics, they will not have that. They'll have like 40, 50, typically base like metric for any educational channel on YouTube is 60%. If you get above that, you have a very likely chance to actually get views.
60? Why 60?
It's just kind of the number that people shoot for. Like with 60, it's like how YouTube retention works is typically there's a big drop off in the beginning, and then after the 30 seconds, it levels off, right? And so if you can reduce the drop in the beginning to 60%, then you're going to have a much higher retention throughout the entire video than if you have 30% and then you have the same flat retention throughout the whole video. It's literally like, 33% less viewers on the video after that point. So that leads to 33% more watch time. Because YouTube's all about watch time. And obviously if you can keep more people past the intro, you're going to have more.
So how do you keep it at 60%?
All right, well, let's go through the intro sauce, bro. So how you structure an intro is you want to essentially first confirm the click. So whatever your title and thumbnail is, you want to repeat that.
Everyone always says like correlate the thumbnail and the title with the intro, but then like everyone fucks it up because it's not like technically speaking, it sounds like it works. How do you actually make sure that that actually does happen?
Yeah, well, the easiest way to do it is just repeating the title exactly. So let's say I have a video. We'll do the video. I made $35 million on YouTube. Here's like copy my system, right? What I would say for the intro in that video, I would start it off with, over the last 3 years, I've made over $35 million for my clients on YouTube, and I'm going to give you the entire system right now, right? That's pretty much restating the exact title. It also builds credibility. You want to try to weave in credibility if you can in that first line. And then you go into the second line, which is creating an open loop. And an open loop is just creating curiosity. It's answering a question in the viewer's head that gets them hooked into the video. So what you would do as an example for that, and I would say something like, it all comes down to one simple system that 99% of channels, or that 99% of business owners ignore on YouTube. And so now people are wondering, what is that system, right? Because now I've created that question in their head. Then after that, we set expectations in the third line. So what I would say is like, over the next X minutes, I'm going to, for one, give you the system, but I'm going to show you exactly how it works and exactly how you can use it to make your first $1 million from YouTube. So that sets the expectations. You can also set expectations for format too. So you could say, I'm about to show you an in-depth like Zoom call that this guy paid me $1,000 for, that breaks down this entire system. So that would set the expectation that they're going to go into a more boring video. That's how you raise retention on boring videos, by the way. Then on the fourth line, that's where you end it off. You establish why you're unique. So you could essentially say something like either a mission statement or more credibility. So it's like, we've posted over 10,000 videos using this system, and we have data that no one else has in the market. So that's why you should listen to me, right? So that would be like the fourth line. Or I could say something like, I'm on a mission to make 1,000 YouTube channels over $1 million. That's why I'm giving you this information. That would establish singularity. That's it. Those four, you hit those four, confirm the click, open a loop. So confirm the click, create curiosity, set expectations, and then establish singularity.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And then I guess like I've had videos before and I've seen like friends' videos, like they'll do decently well. But then like in the video, they will like cause the drop-offs will happen. Like big drop-offs that tend to happen. I'm sure you've also analyzed that because the more drop-offs, the more money that's being lost.
Mm-hmm.
What are the main reasons you think like people like typically drop off? Is it like there's not enough cuts? Is it like they go off tantrums? What usually causes like drop-offs in the middle of a video?
That's a great question. Yeah, a lot of it is essentially talking about things that people don't want to hear. So the biggest drop-offs that we always see is if anybody mentions a product, a sponsored section, that's necessary, but it always causes a drop-off, right? And then there's really no way to tell. It's just whatever the ICP doesn't want to hear. So it's like, let's say that you're talking to a business owner and you say a line that says like, oh, this system just takes 20 hours a week. That's a lot of time. Like they're going to drop off if they hear that, right? So it's like anything that they don't want to hear. And how you actually find that out is by looking at the drop-offs. A strategy that we like to implement is we'll go in, we'll look at the retention graph on these videos, and we'll see wherever there's a 3% drop or more. Anywhere where there's at least a 3% drop, that's worth noting. And we take a note on exactly what's the thing that he said. We do that throughout all of the backlog of the videos. We look at, any 3% drop, any 3% rise, and we put it in a drop and a rise section. And then we feed that into AI and say, what are the things that we should say less? And then what are the things that we should say more?
Okay. Interesting. You know how it is with YouTube, right? Like you get like a lot of different perspectives, but it's really interesting. How do you decide the length of a video?
It's a good question. As far as length goes, I don't know if you know the company 1 of 10, but they are one of the biggest YouTube data companies on the market. And they put together a study that actually looked at this. They looked at I think it was 10,000 outlier videos to see which length is the best. And for the business niche specifically, I'm going to keep it focused towards business. The ideal length that you want to go is between 18 and 22 minutes. Those are the ideal length for a business video based off of thousands of data points. Anything 10 minutes is good. Anything above 10 minutes is fine. But if you want the maximum reach, I think it was I don't know the exact number, but it's roughly 30 to 50% higher performance at the 18 to 22 minute mark. It also skyrockets after 2 hours as well, by the way. But that's a whole different kind of style.
Do you know why? Why do you think that is?
I think anything above 2 hours is perceived as more valuable. It's all about value perception. And then 18 to 22 minutes, that's a point where it doesn't feel like it's too long. But it also is enough time to get a higher watch time on the video. So if you have a 40% watch time on a 10-minute video, it's 4 minutes. If you have a 30% watch time on a 20-minute video, what would that be? 6 minutes? That's still higher.
Interesting. And then what funnel? I see a lot of people, for example, who I feel get really good views, but I feel on people on YouTube, a lot of people have shit funnels.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are really good creators, but when it comes to the business side, they're not really the best. What would you tell those people? How would you approach it? Because I'm sure when you were working with Joel, you're like, oh, there's a book of coffee. Because I came from the growth operating space first, right? It's
sure.
It's kind of obvious what funnels you want to run or switch off. So I'll have people on Trackio who have a growth operator or come from a operator type of audience, and they will make so much more. And you'll have another YouTuber who has the potential to make a lot, but he just will make nothing close to it because he has a Patreon or a newsletter or a landing page, direct to, just direct to checkout. And it's $167 product, which is has no and like, you know, and how do I say it? Has a like clear outcome and everything. So like, what do you think people are doing wrong on YouTube when it comes to that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, consistently, what we've seen work is just VSL funnels, right? Like same thing that works in direct response, right? Like if you're a business owner, you know, it's like you can run just a good webinar funnel on YouTube, it crushes. You can run a good VSL funnel on YouTube, it crushes. But if you're a creator and you don't really know about that stuff yet, then I think you should get educated fast, because like
Right.
that is really where the real opportunity is on content, is selling high ticket offers, right? The one thing that I will mention, and I think this will be valuable to some business owners on here, is there's a big difference in selling on YouTube. It's like running a VSL funnel on YouTube versus paid ads. Typically on paid ads, you're going to want to lean more on like specific outcomes, guarantees, you know, showing, you know, obviously good promises, stuff like that. Whereas on YouTube, it actually helps you a bit if you're a little bit less like, hey, you can get this crazy guarantee in this time where you don't pay, right? Like that doesn't work quite as well on organic. A lot of times what works well on organic is like a more broad outcome where it's like, hey, you know, we'll help build you a cash flowing business from the comfort of your own home, right? You can put some specifics in there, like we'll help you get, you know, 30 clients a month plus with this system. Like that would be fine, but it's like, you don't want to do like, you know, we'll get you 100 clients or you don't pay, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other things you want to like talk about? Like you want to mention people that you feel like is important on YouTube? Like you've worked with so many people. I'm sure you've taken so many sales calls. Like
Mhm.
what are the core things you think they should focus on to make like realistically like, you know, millions off YouTube?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the biggest thing is just having like top, middle, bottom of funnel content funneling back to a conversion video. So this is like the number one thing like that makes people money on YouTube, and a lot of people don't do it. They'll just make business videos and expect it to work. But if you can actually like go into YouTube with a plan that, hey, 50% of my content, 2 out of every 4 videos are going to be top of funnel, attracting new people, right? So talking to the ICP, but talking broadly to the ICP. So for, you know, let's say a drop shipping offer, it would be like how to get started drop shipping in 2026. After that, after you have the top of funnel be, you know, 2 out of every 4, then you have 1 out of every 4, so 25% of your content being middle of funnel. And that would be solving specific problems for, you know, the ICP, right? So that could be how to set up a Shopify store. That could be how to find a winning product. All of these very specific problems, how to set up your ads manager, how to create your first creative, all of these different things, right? You can break down the specific problems. And then after that, you want to do 25% bottom of funnel. And on the bottom of funnel side, that's typically going to be conversion videos. It's going to be case studies. It's going to be, you know, anything that you talk directly about your offer or your clients or your story. That should be 25% of what you post. The ideal scenario actually is like 1 top of funnel, 1 middle of funnel, 1 bottom of funnel a week. If you can keep that up, 3 videos a week, then that's insane. But if you're doing 4 videos per month, which is probably what I recommend most beginners, 2 top of funnel, 1 middle of funnel, 1 bottom of funnel. And then what you need to do is you need to send all of those videos back to either a YouTube VSL, so a dedicated video that you have, you know, made a sales letter on. Like VSL stands for virtual sales letter. And that's a video that's meant to take somebody from a stranger to a buyer, right? If you can send every single person at the end of each of those top, middle, and bottom funnel videos, say, hey, you know, if you enjoyed this video, go watch this video next. Send people back to that conversion video consistently every single time you post, whether it's top, middle, bottom of funnel, you're going to get more and more traction on that VSL. And that's the thing that's going to make you a ton of money. So that could be a VSL, could be a free course. It could be a story video with a really good CTA. That's the method right there. That's the method for making sales.
Okay. I think like I think we've practiced a lot.
Yeah.
The only question I have is like, is it good or bad to batch film content, like 2, 3 videos at the same time?
Yeah, definitely. I recommend it to everybody.
Really? So it's a good thing.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I batch film like my stuff. I think it's, why wouldn't you? You know, you're just saving time.
Is it cope? Like people saying you shouldn't batch film or like
Who says that? I feel like nobody says that.
well, some people are just saying like, oh, like it's you want to like I don't know, it's like an energy thing, or also just like you know, like you can't have the same like energy the whole time for a video, whatever. But I feel like if you're strategic about it, like I don't think it's an energy thing because like a lot of people, like a lot of YouTubers are like pretty calm people actually.
Yeah.
Unless you're a TikToker, you know.
A lot of that I think is just cope. Like a lot of people just don't want to film like 3 videos at once.
So you prioritize Hermosi just said this, but I feel like a lot of people on YouTube do not care about this at all, and like it's really just bad. Preparation over the time filming, right?
Hmm.
Okay, because I feel like this is one of the only thing I want to kind of end it off with is like the most important part is the preparation.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing people should take out of this is like you think about the thumbnail, the strategy, the intro. Filming is the easy part. You just sit down. If you have a teleprompter, you have a teleprompter. If you have notes, you have notes. It like takes 20 minutes. It's all the work that goes behind it. And I feel like people are just like randomly, do YouTube randomly and it's like, oh, it didn't work. Yeah, well, no shit. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. If you have any, I mean, people can check you out. Amplify Views, well, we M5 Views, Lyndon Chastain, or
Yep.
Chastain Testimonials. And yeah, I think there's a lot of value to be provided there. I actually like today's. I never know what to expect. We never like
Yeah,
really spoke about strategy, right? It was always like track yo, track yo, track yo. Well, I guess that's my whole life right now. So
for
that's
sure.
more. But obviously, people on YouTube, right? Like for the longest time, no one's been tracking.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was really surprised to find out like a year and a half ago that no one had built this software before because I was like, I'm printing off YouTube right now, and like, how is there no one that cares about this data?
Mm.
I would expect people to want to track their conversion rates, or per view, or per video itself, and everything. And I'm wondering, like, well, I guess before Trackio, there was not a solution besides like UTMs and everything. But how do you see kind of the importance of that and like that kind of moving forward, especially with YouTube becoming like more and more competitive?
Definitely. I think it's extremely valuable because not only can you know, track your sales, and that's a very nice thing to have as a business owner, but you can see what kind of content actually converts for you, right? Which is like so powerful because then you can make more of that. It's the same thing that we do. It's like we make more of the videos that get more views, right? You get a video with 100,000 views, you make it again. But if
Yeah.
you get a video that made $100,000 in sales, you make it again. It's like it would be so dumb not to. And if you
Yeah.
don't have the tracking, you might not know that.
100%. And then, like, I guess because you've been using Trackable until now for a minute, what would you say, like, have been the main things that you've kind of been using as part of it? Like, what's it actually been helping you, like, actually been helping you do? Because, like, at the end of the day, like, we're tracking software, there's a lot of data, right? But, like,
Mhm.
what are the data points that you actually use, and how is it like you've actually been using it? And then has it changed in how you see like data and information with like your YouTube videos? I know before it was super like CTR, like CTR and like CPM and like view drops and like thumbnail. But how has it kind of changed how you see YouTube or your strategy behind it?
For sure. I mean, definitely, especially on the business channel, optimizing a lot more towards just videos that convert. With that, like that's probably the main way that we use it. We just see which videos make sales and do more of them, right? Like keep it super simple. But there's also just so much, like we've even used it outside of our YouTube. Like we're tracking all of our newsletters on that. We're tracking our school bio on it. That's the main thing. So typically the stuff that I look at the most is like just clicks. I look at, you know, how much we made. Like one thing that was really interesting was the viewer journeys. Like that was something that I thought was really cool because that was not something that I had ever seen before. And like recently we had a video right on the Lynn and Chastain channel where we closed the sale and that person paid us $6,000. And on that sale, right, we tracked that from the original video. He watched that video, clicked on the link, and then like went off. He didn't decide to book, and then he
Yeah.
went and he watched our VSL. And then from that video, he re-clicked on the link later that day and booked in a call. And so we actually saw if we were just tracking that through like some normal like CT like UTM, we would see that he would come from that VSL video, but that's not the
Yeah.
case. He came from other videos.
Yeah. We call that last touch bias.
Yeah,
What I call it. It's like everyone thinks they make money off the last thing, but it's like they always come from something. They didn't never just watch one video and convert directly. That's something we're trying to double down on a lot. Is like how
mhm,
can we just like turn it into a science? Because the more you're on the platform, that's why you're seeing it now. Is because you got on like start fully tracking like a month and a half ago, and the more you're on the platform, the more it gives people the journey's time to get bigger. It's only gonna get crazier, bro. Once you're on for like 3 4 months,
yeah,
you see the craziest journeys. Like people will like leave for a month, forget about a creator, and then press and then just all of a sudden just come back and then like buy a week after it. So yeah, it's super interesting. I think like one thing that's really sick is like we literally see like average order value on YouTube be skyrocket high.
yeah,
Even like right now, like a lot of people are on Instagram or they're on like LinkedIn or Twitter. Just by adding YouTube as like another funnel, you skyrocket your AOV, you skyrocket your chance of booking people on calls. Like we see now we're tracking clipping campaigns where people come and convert on YouTube,
mhm,
right? Because like at the end of the day, with this metadata online, I don't know how it happens, but you end up being retargeted by that person on YouTube no matter what. I don't know how they know, to be honest.
yeah,
I actually don't even want to know how they know. I just know they know. Um, And yeah, so it's gonna be super interesting. So, guys, follow Lyndon. If you want to work with someone, get consulting. I mean, if this pod doesn't answer the questions for you, then I don't know what will. Lyndon, any last things to say?
No, I mean, dude, thanks for having me on. I had a great time, and yeah, I mean, I love Trackia, so big vouch to you too.
Appreciate that, man. All right, see you guys.